start the show? I feel like we should start the show. I mean, before we start the show,
just recording right now.
Yeah, I know, but I like officially start the show.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
And everything's gonna fucking flow just fine.
Exactly, bro.
But man, you want to bring us in? Bring us in, man.
Yeah, we can definitely bring it in. It's kind of a little different. Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the grind. Sorry, let's do it again.
That's fine. Yeah, that's why we're live.
Hustle, grind, execute. Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Hustle, Grind, Execute podcast. I'm Mark Bradley. I'm an insurance salesman as well as a W-2 worker. And you know what? Just talking about life and my testimony. Also, we got Troy.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Let's chop it up again, bro.
Yeah. All right. Before we even go there, I gotta go ahead and tell you about the stash.
Okay.
So I had to go there.
What is the stash? Man, I've been looking at that stash for the last minute. I was like, what is going on with that stash, bro? I don't know what to call you. Bro.
Farva. I got a Farva look going on.
What's going on there? It's covering covering the lip. It's getting hefty. It's getting a little heavy.
Yeah, I gotta trim it a little bit. I gotta trim it off the lip. So what happened was, Mark, I had to shave my whole beard because I had to go back to the army last week, and I didn't want to grow back the stash. So
you didn't want to grow back the stash. You love it, man. You're holding on to it.
No, I do not love it. It is a bad look for me. This is probably if I went ahead and shaved my head and had the mustache, that would be, I think, the worst look I could possibly have.
Bro,
for me. But the army took my beard, so I'm protesting with the stash.
Oh yeah, you tell them, bro.
What the fuck did they want? This is what you're gonna get. This is a terrible look for everybody involved.
I'm telling you, they're feeling it, man. They're feeling it. You know, they're feeling the rhetoric that you're coming with, bro, with that mustache. You should curl it at the ends or something, bro. Like you should.
I would love to. It just So
hey, do they have anything against like bleaching or colors in the like, what if you colored it like dark, like you had like a dark mustache or something like that, like a little black?
I think it's because we're old, Mark. The military allows you to go ahead and dye your hair as long as it's natural colors. So I could dye it, and I could do something in my hair. Bro, there's so many fucking people in the military that they show up with one hair color 1 week, like a rose-colored red.
That's not a natural hair color, though, bro. I mean, the thing is it's so that blanket statement of what's natural, what's this, what's that, and I don't know. People, it is what you want it to be nowadays. So you know, what I mean, if I believe I'm a frog, I can be a frog, and frogs, don't have hair.
But that's not the military, Mark. You don't get to just go ahead and be whoever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
Otherwise, let me have a beard.
Exactly.
Let me have a beard.
You identify, hey, you have a beard, but you identify as somebody who doesn't have a beard. So what the hell is the problem?
I have a problem. Hi, my name's Troy. I have a problem.
You know what I mean? What if you're hairy and you identify as somebody who's not hairy, bro? I'm short. I identify as somebody who's 6'5", bro. You know, draft me, Blazers. Come on, let's do this.
Yeah,
man, I need
they
some
can
money.
Really use you right now, even with your bum leg.
Facts, right? Facts. I'm stepping in for Lillard next game, bro. What you talking about?
Bro, I can't even talk about them because I'm so sad and upset.
I'm saying, bro. I'm just saying. I could play like a couple minutes. You know what I mean? Even on my bad leg, I can hit a chest pass. I can run up and down the court. Maybe I know I can commit a foul at least. I'm in there for the fouls, bro.
That's the face right there, bro. You got 6 of them.
That's what I'm there for.
The game.
That's all I'm there for. I'm for the 6. I'm the 6th man. You know what I mean? For the 6 fouls.
I used to say that all the time. That's why I play ball, man. I got 6 fouls, and we're playing on the street. There ain't no real fouls out here.
Just like that one
every
movie.
Time you go down the court.
Let it rain. Let it rain. You know what I mean? I'm in it, man. I'm telling you. Do you ever see yourself like playing basketball ever again, dude?
Yeah, I mean,
when's the last time you actually played ball? Come on,
I played in Korea.
Okay.
Like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I played when I went to K-State.
You played at K-State, bro? You on a team? You're on a squad? K-State?
No, bro. You know I'm not in no squad. but when I went to K-State University, which was like in 2014, 15,
Mm-hmm.
me and my boy Daniel Lessinger, we
Okay.
played like every single week, bro. We every Friday after our last class, we go play some ball. But
Mm-hmm.
now like my shoulders like hurt, so like when I go and like shoot,
Yeah, bro. You gotta
like
get
I
that.
don't know, like I have like instability on my shoulder.
Bro, shoot it with your other arm.
Yeah,
Shoot it with your left hand.
just
Shoot
just
shoot the
left
left
hand,
hand, bro. I'm telling
just
you.
yeah, that's it.
Maybe that's the problem right there. You
Yeah.
just weren't shooting with the right arm, bro. I'm telling you. It,
Oh
it could be
God,
that simple,
here
man.
we go.
You switch it up. Switch it up, dude.
Oh
Honestly. Dude, like I used to play so when working at my job, we used to go at lunch and play basketball, man. It was good. I mean, I used to play all the time, honestly. It was just good cardio. You know what I mean? I'm a scrapper out there.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't got no shot. You know what I mean? I'm gonna lie. You know what I mean? I can hit some layups, but being athletic, I can grab some rebounds. Yeah, but um we there's a story, bro. There's a story. We had this one cat on our that we used to work with that he came out there and he's like clear. Like there's white, but there's like clear. This cat is clear, right? He came out there with some lifeguard shorts on, and
Oh no.
lifeguard shorts on, and was trying to be I don't even know, like a Mark Price or something like that. Was not he was the price was wrong that day because like he literally was one of those guys who called foul on everything, and then he got accidentally
No.
hit. He actually got hit in the eye, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, he was coming after me. I know it, dude. I know it. He was coming after me." Like nobody's come. This is lunch, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, I'm not gonna play anymore, bro. I might have to, call my attorney or a lawyer. I'm like, bro, you ain't calling nobody. This is ridiculous. Like, you get players out there just take. Like, he didn't play ever on a team, and you can see that he didn't have any dribbles or anything street ball, and he was just below mediocre. And he's saying that he was coming for me. He made two shots, and he thought the guy that was defending him was coming for him. Let us, the guy that was defending him, played semi-pro basketball, and he's like, "Yeah, he's coming for me, man. He's coming for me." He was like, he was
So
aiming for
this
my
isn't
eyes.
how I thought this. This isn't how I thought the story was going to go at all. I thought you were going to say this guy had lifeguard shorts on and came out there and just busted you guys all up and
No,
like
man,
just straight up like had
that
the
would have been great
wrong
too.
clothes. Yeah, the wrong clothes and everything, and just came out there. But this story,
Yeah,
yeah,
bro.
this is what happens when you have a lot just new people across the board in business or in school and don't have experience.
Mm-hmm.
They go ahead and feel threatened. And so then they start making accusations that don't even make sense. And then
Yeah.
once you roll it back and put it in context,
Mm-hmm.
like calling the attorney, that's just not happening. It's not going anywhere. The attorney's going to
No.
listen to you, and the attorney's going to try to figure out, because a lot of people call with a whole bunch of craziness. The
Mm-hmm.
attorney's going to try to figure out what is it exactly that you're saying. And then he's going to figure out that you're actually saying that you're playing basketball with your boys at
Mm-hmm.
lunch,
Yeah.
and there was a foul committed on you, and you're trying to go ahead and now make a lawsuit or something. The
Yeah,
attorney be like,
dude.
I don't have time
It
for this,
was
man. You're gonna have to find another attorney.
it was the funniest thing because like that guy was guarding him, right? And then the other guy, super nice guy. He said the whole team was coming. Dude, these are like some of the nicest guys ever. And they're like, dude, we're sorry, bro. That was a foul. You know what I mean? They even said it like, are you serious? Like, I would never come. You know what I mean? I was like, dude, he would never come for you. Nobody's this is
Yeah.
lunch. I mean, this is ridiculous. Like,
What do you get for coming at somebody at lunchtime basketball?
I
Can
don't
you
know.
explain to me? Let's just go ahead and just play with that for a second. What would
They're
you
trying to shut
get?
him down, bro. They couldn't have him coming up. You know what I mean? Like this is gonna be a highlight on sports. Nobody wanted to be on Shacking the Fool where they were getting like crossed over, but it wasn't even like he was doing any of that. Like he got like accidentally poked an eye or hit an eye or something like that. But he's like, yeah, he's trying to blind
So
me. He's trying to come for me, bro.
I was I was thinking if they were coming for him in this scenario, that like maybe they weren't making any sales and they're having a frustrating day, and like his girl broke up with him, and he's like, fuck this, man, lunchtime
Oh
basketball is
man.
my shit today.
That's a whole nother can of worms, man. Probably. I mean, that's the thing is like maybe this life is coming for him. You know what I mean? Some people feel that way. You know what I mean? I can't. I mean, I mean, how many times in your life are you like, damn, like why me today? You know what I mean? Like, you get your
I had a moment the other day. And it sounds so stupid to say out loud, but I feel like I have to say. I told my wife.
Mhm.
She told me if I behave myself, she's gonna take my cell phone.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
like a little kid.
see, put
Yeah,
it on top of the
I know.
top of the
So
refrigerator. You can't get it.
yeah, exactly. I got no way to get it. I gotta go get school. It's gonna take too long.
What else, man? What else has been going on, man? What's your week been looking like? What's been chopping, bro?
I have a good week. I have a good week this week. I just
Yeah.
felt tired, man. Felt tired. I think it also contributes to being in pain, which I don't
Yeah.
want to use as an excuse, but like when you're in pain and like I didn't do my normal routine of getting up and going and working out because my back hurts. So like
Mm-hmm.
there's no working out and it was cold outside. So
Yeah.
I ain't get a lot done, man. I ain't get a lot done. But I mean we got that deal for the $400,000 house done. I
Oh.
mean, as much as I didn't do last week, I reached out to a whole bunch of people and made phone calls too through my connections on my phone, and just basically just reminded people where I'm at, what I'm doing, basically telling them I love them, keeping their
Mm-hmm.
phone number. So that worked out pretty well.
That's definitely good, man. As long as you're putting
Yeah.
stuff in place, you know what I mean? I think that's the big thing is that you're planting seeds, right? Things may not happen
Mm-hmm.
today, tomorrow, but as long as you got stuff continuously rolling, and planted and you're watering those things, you know, I have to get in that same mindset because like in my job, it's 100% commission based, but I have phone calls and meetings during the week and stuff that I got two people right now that I did work for them. It's been like it's taken a little bit of time to go through because they have a lot of medical issues and stuff like that, but it's gonna pay off. I mean, it's definitely is, and just keeping that in the forefront front that you know work is being done. I mean, work is moving. I mean, it may not look like it today, but tomorrow things are continuously moving and changing and stuff like that. So I think that's one in the mindset, and I think we're in the sense of like mental health, right? I think mental health within whatever you do is understanding that as long as you're waking up, progressing, and setting forth and planting those seeds within your goals, it may not look great, like a great week, but honestly, probably was a great week, but you just didn't see it. You know what I mean? Is this one of those things like I don't see it every week, but it's like something moved, something happened, other things needed to fall apart so other things can fall into place. So I think that's just huge.
So so it's funny how I project it being a bad week, but
Hmm.
internally I understand that this is a long game,
Hmm.
and things that happen today or this week don't really determine the big picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even though it may not have produced numbers or instant results, I mean, we are looking to close a deal, so that's around $10,000. So that should be something I go ahead and cherish and look forward to, and
Yeah.
champion.
Hmm.
But really, internally, I understand the long game of this and how it's a marathon and not a race, not a
Yep.
sprint. So just looking at the short term, like I'm still very satisfied. I'm not really discouraged or anything like that.
Hmm.
Now, if I have compounding weeks that look just like this week
Uh-huh.
without any closing, say like 5, 6 weeks,
Uh-huh.
I might then start getting worried. But
Hmm.
I'm at a place where I feel so blessed for being able to do what I do because I haven't really had to talk to any strangers.
Hmm.
It's all been within my sphere.
Hmm.
So I mean, it's been relatively easy business, and that's what business should be.
Hmm.
But at some point, I will be having to strike up conversations with other people, which is fine.
Hmm.
But to be able to go this long and not have to do that, unlike a lot of stuff that I hear from other real estate agents,
Hmm.
because agents are like, "Hey, how do I get business? Hey, how do I do this?" Goes back to mentoring, like we were talking about, and I would like to go ahead and mentor some people because they're not giving bad advice. It's just not the advice that I would be giving. And nobody's really saying, hey, they're saying to call FISBOs, trying to drum up business. And I'm like, dude, you got to get on the internet. You
Yeah.
got to get on social media.
Yeah.
You should get uncomfortable. But cold calling, just like you were saying, Mark, it doesn't have the returns that you would want.
Yeah,
And these
it
people
doesn't.
don't know you, love you, or trust you. They're just like, dude, who's this stranger calling me? I don't want to have this conversation.
It is. It's one of those things
Yeah.
where you're fighting over objections, right? You know what I mean? Like I could go do this. You know, who is this person? I mean, you're not building rapport. You're trying to build rapport in a short amount of time. And I think that's where within, cold calling, right? I mean, the big thing is before, they buy anything from you, that they have to buy who you are first, right? They got to buy who you are. They're investing in you in that conversation. And that's huge. And if you can't, in the first 3 to 5 seconds, like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, "Ugh, you know what I mean? That can happen because, they're not investing in um and people buy off emotion, you know what I mean? Whether it's a house, whether it's insurance, whether it's a car, you know what I mean? And how that's gonna affect them and impact them. It's huge. I think that's what cold calling in my experience has been has done wonders in regards to sharpening my tools of not being scared to pick up the phone, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
that's the first instance of like cold calling is like trying to get somebody to pick up the phone. The phone doesn't weigh 500 pounds, but it's just that comfortability. You're building comfortability through cold calling, and then sharpening your tools to kind of redirect and pivot at the options that can be presented. And like I've been working with people to help them understand that you're going to sharpen your tools. But at the end of the day, like with how technology is working in the base of like warm leads and people calling in, I think that's the direction that a lot of people that I've talked to, whether it's real estate, whether it's insurance, whether it's within the financial industry, they have appointment setters. They're walking in on appointments that people really just want what you want. And it makes it easy, and it takes a lot of stress off you, and it's just creating those funnels, you know. And I think we were talking about campaigning, internet, social media, and stuff like that. So once you learn that, it makes the job a whole lot easier.
So with building rapport, and I'm gonna like lead the witness like I'm a jury or an attorney.
Uh-huh.
So building rapport, wouldn't you say building rapport would be much easier if you already had content on the internet where people are already connecting with you that have watched several times, all sorts of different videos,
Uh-huh.
and then they're like, yeah, man, I like this guy. I
Yeah.
know who this guy is. And they reach out and do a little comment to you or something. You build rapport through that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so much more welcoming than some stranger calling my phone. There's somebody that has called my phone for this last week,
Uh-huh.
um, probably 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
They want to know about the properties I have, and I have my house, and I have that property out in Horseshoe Bay,
Uh-huh.
and and they want to put solar on my house.
Oh.
And I'm like, dude, I don't know you.
Yeah.
I'm a real estate agent. I have my vendors, and I don't
Hmm.
know you. Could you tell me your business name? You haven't even told me your business name.
Yeah, right.
And like we're like 3 minutes in the conversation, he finally tells me, and it's like AmeriCorps. And I'm like, that why nobody knows who you are, man. And you just give me some blanket name that's like universal across America. Like that has it's not genuine in any way
Yeah.
to where we currently are living. And
Hmm.
I don't even know like your name. I don't know your business name. I know nothing about you. You want me just to go ahead and buy into what you're saying over the phone? I can't remember exactly, but the gist of the thing is the person that's engaging you in public, say a panhandler or just some random person that approaches you, they want something from you that you typically don't want to give them. So time, energy, money, all those things. It's the same thing with a cold call. They want to go ahead and take your time, energy, and money and attention
Hmm.
and put it on them. But in general, if I was out in public and you were to approach me and go ahead and try doing a cold call in public, I mean, obviously scenarios are different. I'm
Hmm.
still gonna react pretty much the same. Like I don't know you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this is not the social setting to go ahead and be doing this.
Yeah, and I totally agree. And I mean, people working through objections in that atmosphere, that more people are more defensive and have that no already locked in, right? I mean, everybody wants to buy something, but nobody wants to be sold, right? There's one of those things where it's like, um, especially if I mean, a lot of cold calls. I mean, they come off salesy, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And there's
Yeah.
a stigma about sales, right? We buy a lot of stuff. We're a consumer, society. We buy, right? But if you need to, we buy, like I'll reference back, we buy off emotion. You know what I mean? It's getting past that skin, that bones, and into the heart of the situation. How can you do that in 3 to 5 seconds? That's very hard. That's very hard. I mean, there are people that can do that, but if you're reading off a script, or just like that America person, like doesn't know who you are, like, hey, how's it going, Troy? How many properties do you have? And like, ooh, who is this? And how did you get my information? And you know what I mean? That is kind of, people are kind of standoffish about that. You know what I mean? And rightfully so. I mean, we're in a society where misinformation and all this kind of different stuff is going on today, where it's just like we're just taken back by somebody's first instance of trying to garner information from us, like, and I'm just supposed to trust you. I mean, there's not a lot of trust going on right now. So let less giving you where my property is and whatever, and then now you want me to put money down for you, and then what's your name, Americo? What's your name? You know what I mean? We've built no trust, no rapport, and no line here. They're overstepping. I mean, we are very guarded at the core. You know what I mean? Just in general. So I don't know. I mean, I totally agree with how things are now with social media, TikTok, and how information is garnered in that kind of respect. I mean, how I got in the industry that I'm in is that I reached out to somebody that I connected with. And I was like, dude, I like who this guy is, right? And I joined his team. And that's how we kind of just built that. And then I knew who he was. And, I think that's the way that the industry, the marketing industry, the financial industry, whatever industry, you're buying a car, you're watching TV, you're setting a motion, it's pulling you in, but you're seeing something that you can relate to, something that you want to be a part of. And with cold calling, it's just one of those things that I think um it's I hate to say that it's run its course kind of with social media and all these things that garner that 5 second um
Attention.
attention, right? So that
Yeah.
attention grabbing thing, and if you can't grab somebody's attention that they can't see, and you're just a voice over the other line trying to offer them something that they don't see the value in.
So, talking about this, I was already embedded in believing this, and did you listen to the podcast with Gary Vee? I sent you
Yes, I did,
kind
sir.
of talking about this. Okay, so I was embedded in thinking this way and about this and about cold calling. I had I would say substantial success with cold calling, surprisingly, when I entered into real estate,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't how I saw the game. And here we are today, and we are agreeing that cold calling is somewhere towards the bottom quarter, the bottom third, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
of lead generating. And
It
if you're
is.
looking at lead generating, you're looking at like what's optimal, what is worth my time. Well, I would say cold calling is probably further down the line, especially people that aren't even receptive or expecting a phone call. Bruh, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work now. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot sit here and promote that. That's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Because me hearing that, you're basically telling me that that's your limited scope.
Mm-hmm.
You're not broad. You're not
Yeah.
expansive. You're not bringing in new content. You just basically stopped to what worked 10, 15 years ago.
Well, the way I see it too is people have that mindset is they do what's comfortable, right? That's been working. That's been his bread and butter. So change is hard for some people, especially if they don't. I mean, you gotta in the industry, in business, you gotta have a growth mindset. You gotta think outside of the box. You gotta change, because change is the only thing that is guaranteed, right? Things are gonna continue
Mm-hmm.
to. It's like the seasons. Things are gonna change. That's just a given. Now you can adapt or die. That's it in business. You can adapt or die. That's it. You got to adapt to the social media, the how you're generating your leads. You got to, how business is going. I mean, there's consistency, right? You just got to stay consistent in understanding how you're going to change. I mean, just think of the landscape of what we're doing right now, podcasting. Um, I mean, how many years ago? I mean, you wouldn't have thought about that. You mean you heard of talk radio, but how many people like actually getting on and doing their own podcasts or monetizing that podcast and doing things like that, selling art over, digital art with NFTs, no fungible, I mean, these are things that if you would have told somebody this like 5-10 years, they're like, what? They look at you all sideways, right? But this is
Yeah.
the evolving atmosphere of where we're at, and how do we change with it? And I had a conversation with you, I think about like a couple weeks ago, about real estate in the metaverse and how people are buying up, real estate in the metaverse and what that looks like. You know what I mean? And how, and I can't even conceptualize that. You know what I mean? I'm like, people are buying that kind of stuff. They're doing that. You're like, yeah, that's, you told me that you couldn't think of that with that. I can't paraphrase your word, but you like, it's something I cannot not think about. You know what I mean? Because that's the industry that you're in. You know what I mean? And that's something that I believe, when it changes into that as it is right now, you'll be able to be, but you're prepared, you understand that, you're just like, you're not with I'm just going to stand my ground, just like, I live in Tornado Alley or whatever, and I'm just going to just live here and whatever, you know what I mean? It's like, no, we got to change, we got to adapt, we got to change, we got to, because if we don't adapt, then obviously we die, you know what I mean? And that's just how it is. I mean, you don't get stronger from it, you just, you phase out.
So you're talking about the metaverse. You're talking about digital real estate. I don't see how we don't go there, because
Mm-hmm.
looking right now, you wanted me to have like a background. I couldn't do a background. I was having problems. I think my computer's too old. But you have a background,
Mm-hmm.
and this is, I actually listened to a podcast that week when you asked that question, but I didn't want to get too deep into it
Mm-hmm.
because I want to be surface level and be
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I'm thinking about it. The people I listen to are thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and basically what they said was, there's not too many times, Mark, where you're gonna have big gatherings at your house or invite a bunch of people at your house, especially when you're an adult, say
Mm-hmm.
30, 40, 50 years old. That kind of, that was more of a party situation where you'd have people over and stuff like that. But now, just like through this meeting, you have a digital background.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that was Mark Bradley, you own the stuff in that background, and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, hey, let me show you around my house and let you kind of experience what's going on. Like, let's take it to the living room.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, that's going to be a situation that is taking place
Yeah.
when you can go ahead and build it. Especially these young kids, some of the stuff I see on Roblox and Minecraft, some of the stuff that these kids are making that I see. I don't have kids, but sometimes parents are posting stuff with their kids. You can imagine it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that I see in the digital Minecraft and Roblox and stuff like that is amazing.
Yep.
And then they're going to be able to go ahead and turn around and sell that at some point.
Yep.
And their stuff is like Mark, you were talking about some of the houses you're looking at and how they aren't real and
Yeah.
they're just pictures generated by the internet. These kids are going to be really good at that. And they're
Oh
going to be
yeah.
able to sell this. And how are we going to stop something that's already happening without any monetization behind it? It's going to
Yeah.
be there.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you, I mean, basically, even to key on what you're saying, look at my background. I mean, this background can obviously can get pulled up by any Google engine or whatever. But look at the items in the background, right? The books, that vase, that desk, right? People,
Bookshelf.
that shelf. People are buying those things and then placing them in, monetizing them out into other people's backgrounds or whatever. And it's just one of those things. Like there's like I think it was like a 12-year-old girl who, the long neck pictures. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I've seen them.
Oh my goodness. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things where, I mean, I at one point like you get worried, but another point you're happy in the sense that business and the evolution of business and art and all these kind of things and access to the growth of it has come to this point where like I can hopefully teach my kids more about financial literacy in that aspect, you know what I mean, in the tech industry, and how they can kind of supplement their incomes and expand on that and start their own business, and it's one of those things where I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for those things, that there's not a control basis too stringent. I mean, obviously there is, obvious in everything is a control basis, but to the point where, they have leverage in not working a 9 to 5 or anything like that, where they're not, uh, you know, um, reliant on government assistance or anything like that, where they can kind of make their own paths in that way. Does that make
Yeah,
sense?
yeah, it does. And all right, to go even further, we were talking about minimum wage jobs, and I was explaining. I shouldn't say explain. I was brainstorming different ways that people are not working minimum wage jobs. Mark, did you know there's something like called drop shipping? Do you know
Yes,
what
I've
drop
heard about that.
shipping is?
Yes, I do, sir.
So very basic, bare bones. If I'm working a minimum wage job and you're telling me I can buy stuff off Alibaba and then link it to an Amazon account, and then I can make money through that transaction. Say I can find a hydro flask, something like this, and you can go ahead and find this for like $3 or $4 on Alibaba, and then turn around and sell on Amazon and make $10 off each cup. Why would you not do that? Why would you not? And so you're telling me that you can go ahead and supplement your minimum wage job through a drop ship. How long are you going to work that minimum wage job then? Internet money's real. Like you're going to go ahead and monetize that, and you're going to transition out of like I'm bad. I'm not a good person when it comes to being an loyal employee. If I have a job that's really bad, I've worked several where I'll just get one paycheck and I'll move on because I was able to supplement enough income for me to go ahead and pursue other things. And I quit, but I don't feel bad because in those type of transactions, they don't really value me anyways.
No, they
only
don't.
need somebody to fill a position to go ahead and flip the burgers or make enough money. So I don't know where I'm going with this, but basically,
no, I get what you're saying.
To back it all the way, why? All right, so when it comes to minimum wage jobs of less than $15 an hour, less than $10 an hour, how are you going to go ahead and encourage these people to come work for you when there's so many different avenues readily available today in 2022 that wasn't available in, say, the late 1990s or early 2000s, that they can go ahead and supplement their money a different way? I would rather be broke and doing drop ship than going to Burger King. I'm sorry, but that's just where I'm at.
Well, I think that's where the problem ensues too, is that, you have certain individuals where, inflation, but the minimum wage has risen to a level where, and inflation has risen. So, you couple those things together, it's really not what you think it is. I mean, there's this, how do you say this? I don't know the word right now, but it's an untruth of where you're making more than you actually think you are. When you're not making as much as you think you are, right? So they're reliant on the government because, I mean, these last couple of years with COVID.
Subsidies.
Yeah.
Subsidies from the government.
Yeah, it's the subsidies with the government that what I mean, they're making more like than they would be at a 9 to 5, flipping burgers. So that's my hope, is that we can kind of, share how you can definitely do a drop ship. That the more education that we've learned, or we're learning within the basis of technology and, financial freedom and these just different tools that you can learn, you can, pass it on. Because I'm learning more and more about NFTs. You heard of Discord? I mean, I feel old here. My kids know about Discord, but and you know what I mean, and OpenSea, and what's another one? The Fox one. What's the Fox thing?
I don't know the Fox one.
Let me look at it. Oh, MetaMask. MetaMask.
No.
And
I know OpenSea. I know all the other ones. Yeah.
Haystack. All this kind of different stuff. All this kind of different stuff that's out there to make money. I mean, I think there's so much stuff. And I think, I mean, Gary Vee and people like him have said it. I mean, this time right now, is the time to get out there and like make that money. It's so easy to make money, monetize. We just got to do it. You know what I mean?
So, so Mark, even kind of the context in which we're talking about, and this is where the real disconnect is, because it's the people that are just entering the job force, the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
They're the young kids that know all the stuff that we're just talking about.
Yeah.
And if you proposition them, and this is where I think the jobs and the disconnect is
Mm-hmm.
it's not with us. It's not people that are 60. They still
Mm-hmm.
want to work. And they're
Yeah.
going to do the same thing that they've been doing for a long time. It's the young generation that is not going to show up to do these jobs
Mm-hmm.
when they go ahead and like, I remember this moment because like I used to go ahead and work a job that would make me so much money over 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew friends that were making what I was making in 2 weeks, they were making in a day or two
Mm-hmm.
selling drugs. All right. And I know this is a pivot, but this is to prove a point. And I had to think very hardly for a long time about what am I doing? Because I'm making an honest living, but I'm having to work my ass off for 2 weeks when I know exactly what they're doing and I can do and replicate what they're doing and make that money in 24 hours or 48 hours instead of spending 2 weeks. So go ahead and go full circle here. Why would they work somewhere that they have to go ahead and work for 2 weeks to make one income? They can go ahead and do it in a different way through digital internet money and all these other ways to go ahead. Why would the young person show up and do this? That's what I'm really getting at here. They're not going
to. They're not going to. I would even say this is that the sales and marketing atmosphere in the financial industry, I mean, that's even real estate. I mean, in that scope, they make the most millionaires, right? They have the most millionaires. That's where your most money is going to be made, right? And you have NFTs, you have all these kind of different stuff, but you also have, what's it called? Freaking OfferUp, right? You have OfferUp. I have a buddy
those are
who's
called iBuyers. They're internet buyers.
Mhm.
They're big corporations that have a whole bunch of money behind them. So that's what we call them in real estate. As a realtor, we call them iBuyers.
And those iBuyers, even though like I have a buddy who, I know who sells shoes. Like he works at like a 9 to 5, but he's making he does that's just like a part of the deal, but he makes more just selling shoes. You know what I mean? He buys it from, whoever who's buying it, and then he just flips it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing like somebody's buying a house, right? And they flip it, you know what I mean? The cost of that shoe raises, and then I'm like, dude. He's like, yeah, and the shoe's dropping today. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And then he's like, can you can you fill something out for me so I can get into sweepstakes and all this stuff? I'm like, okay. So it heightens his chance, but there's also bots and there's also kind of different stuff, and it's in an atmosphere where I don't need to know everything within it because I won't know everything in it, but I at least want to know, the surface level of it, you know what I mean, and how it can kind of benefit my industry and what I can do to kind of, you know, teach, to my kids and how, to make, because again, like you said, there's not going to be a lot of people flipping burgers, you know what I mean, anymore. That's going to be a pastime. There's a lot of people right now. I just saw that there's freaking this robot making burgers. Have you seen this?
No,
The robot's
I mean,
making,
I expected it a long time ago.
making burgers. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's gonna be, is something. The industry that I'm in is probably gonna be, with my 9 to 5 job is gonna be obsolete. They're gonna have a robot doing it or something like that. So you kind of gotta navigate and understand that change is coming, that the technological age is here even more so, and the meta world, so to say, is taking over. And how are you going to adapt in that world? And it's one of the things where you shouldn't be scared. You should be just more amped to know, to be more knowledgeable in having to use what tools you've been given, because there's a lot of tools. Like I went on YouTube, TikTok, and basically obviously they're sharing content, obviously, and you can learn so much just from like little 10, 15-second, 30-second video, and then how to do it step by step. So
I don't consume enough TikTok. I know that might be the most counterintuitive thing that I will say in a while. I just don't consume enough. It really is a lot of good stuff, but I usually limit myself. I don't count per se, but I usually will do about 10 videos that are recommended to me, and I'll do 10 videos for me before I set it down. And I don't take my phone to the dinner table anymore. I try to keep it, separated, because like I am working pretty hard, pretty consistently, but I how can you say, yes, the availability for information and ideas is out there. It's plentiful. There's so much. I try to live presently though, because when I'm present and I'm away from the input, I actually am more creative. I'm more calm, and I'm more adaptive to going ahead and accomplishing what I really set out to do. So I don't know. I think I have ADD. I think I have some issues, but typically the further I push stuff away and I am present with myself and the loved ones around me, the better off I usually am. Well, so I try to limit it.
And I totally agree, bro. I totally agree on that. And I'm working to that stage too, more so because I do get distracted myself, and I spend more. I don't. The thing is how I want to scale that is, or better say that is to say that there's a lot of information on hand for people to garner and to learn from, but don't get analysis paralysis. You know what I mean? I think your 10 and 10 is great. You set a discipline to you've disciplined your actions, right? I've heard the saying, there's two disciplines, there's two things in life. I'll read it right here.
There I have you go.
It. Let me read it right here.
Well, if you're gonna read stuff, I'm gonna have to read stuff after this.
No, it says there's two types of pains in your life: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Which pain are you going to choose? So the thing is when you're saying that you're choosing to, discipline yourself in doing 10-10, being present, dude, I'd rather have that discipline knowing that I'm going to have a beneficial, life, because I've disciplined. I've also catered to the other areas of my life. You cannot consume, you can have a little bit of cake, right? But if you were to consume cake all the time, obviously you'd be obese or have diabetes, and that would not benefit you. But having a little, yeah, you're enjoying that, right? But you also lead to the fact of taking that away and understanding that there are other things in your life that your body needs, your mind needs, and you know what I mean? But it also gives you time to miss those things so you can come back to those things. But yeah, and I don't want to, that second part of that to regret. You don't want to regret taking too much time in doing one thing, right? And consuming one thing and regretting all the other things that you just left behind. And yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but
so to go with that, Mark, I've actually found it to be part of my routine that actually works better. Surprisingly, I know you're not going to be surprised, but surprisingly, if I wake up in the morning and I start reading and drinking my coffee while I wake up, for some reason, I get my ass in gear and I go to the gym more quickly in a timely manner than if I go ahead and just drink coffee and I'm on social media while I'm waking up.
Yeah.
All right. So I think it's twofold. While I'm reading and consuming my coffee, one, I'm getting creative and I'm chilling. All right. And the other one is I'm droning on and looking for something that isn't going to even be available on social media while I drink my coffee. And I tend to drink more coffee and I prolong going to the gym. So there's really no satisfaction there, but it's prolonged and I'm procrastinating. When I get up and I read in the morning and then I go to the gym, it has been more fruitful. So I don't do this on the weekends. On the weekends, I usually wake up and I'm on social media and I'm just chilling and that makes for an enjoyable weekend, almost like you were saying, being disciplined but putting it off and enjoying it at a later date. And I
Yeah.
know on the weekends I sleep in and I don't get up early and I really don't have anything to accomplish. Usually I'm working on the weekends as well, but
Hmm.
this at least allows me to go ahead and be disciplined, and I feel accomplished when I just do those little things in the morning
Hmm.
and how I move into my day. So I don't know. That just worked for me. I've heard other people say it, and I've actually fought it where I did it, then I didn't do it, then I did it again,
Hmm.
and I just realized that yeah, it's actually it. But I have to kind of go through those things to go ahead and experience it, and so I can be mindful.
Yeah, man. I think setting out and having a plan and being disciplined is one of those things, because even if you didn't like doing it at first, it becomes part of your desire to do it, right? Say like working out. I mean, when we used to wrestle, what I mean, working out was one of those things where it was arduous, right? And you were like, oh my gosh, I got to go work out this morning or whatever, right? You got to go run in the gym, run laps, or whatever, listen to Rod Stewart or whatever else in the morning, right? But after that,
Mark, let's transition to the show, bro. Let's transition to the show.
okay,
Get us in here. We're rolling into that. Let's do it.
okay, you want to do that?
Hey,
So
all right, that's it, man. That's our show. We can be us now, Mark.
all right, man.
I think we do a better job when we talk just me and you and less to the people. But
Okay, yeah.
I thought we did really good, man. I thought that was a good show. We'll run it back and give it a listen.
Did you have questions? Did you have written down questions?
No,
No,
no.
those are all top. You threw some questions at me, bro. I know it's kind of,
Yeah,
yeah, man. I was like, okay, okay, man. I thought you just had a little question sheet right there. I was like, okay.
no, man. I'm I think I'm okay with. I'm pretty good off the top, man. I don't
Mhm.
like to run a show sheet just for that very reason because I want to go ahead and like through our conversation, how I don't know have those. I have those some of those questions just in my
Mhm.
head from what you were saying.
Yeah, for sure, bro. And I mean, um, yeah, I think our conversations are, I mean, obviously we're gonna get better. It's gonna become more and more natural, more and more, off the cuff. And I think we're doing well, man. It just takes time. It won't take that much time, but I definitely think that as we get more comfortable on talking, especially with me, bro. Like I can talk to you all day over the phone. When the lights start coming on, I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I say?
The general principles of some of the things that you're talking about,
Hmm.
I understand quite a bit of them.
Hmm.
But the end of the day, people are gonna have to know, trust, and love you
Hmm.
for you to go ahead and be that person, anyways. So
Yeah.
you just throwing some stuff out there is gonna be great.
Okay.
That's really all that we're trying to get out there is just some of that, so people know.
Yeah,
And
for
I
sure,
love
man.
how you were saying how it's like your number one priority or it's your biggest asset investment. And I was like, all right. So go ahead, tell me why, Mr. Big Shot. Because I say the
uh,
same thing. I'm like, it's your number one asset, man. Why would you not want to choose me to protect it? Yeah, yeah,
exactly, your life, man, your life, or your real estate, right? Your home.
yeah.
I mean, that's a huge asset on your thing.
But
You know what I mean?
it's hard for me to go ahead and argue that when yeah you have you have yours, and I'm like, all right, well, yeah, life's more important than a house, but let me go ahead and
But that
yeah,
works
man.
together, bro. I mean, me and my wife were talking about that. It was like that works together with, we have a carrier that's called the Home Path, right? So we have a carrier that's called a Home Path, which they basically works with, your lender, or works with, somebody who just recently bought a house, that says, hey, you recently bought a house. This is one of your biggest investments in your life, right? And they were like, yeah, this is my biggest investment. Obviously, it's a huge deal. Now, what happens if you die? What happens to that asset? What happens to your wife? Can she take care of you? You know what I mean? Can she take care of your family? If you were to, you have two incomes, right? Now let's look at a critical period. Now, if you have a critical period, which is the time that you die, and the amount of years you want to take care of your wife for, what, 5-10 years after you pass, or do you want to take care of your whole mortgage? after you pass. The majority of people, depending on their age, they look at, if they're young, they want to take care of the whole mortgage. So their house is not even, going to get put into foreclosure or whatever. So that is, which is like $40, like $50. Older people, they're like, well, I just want to take care of the critical period, which is, probably $70,000, but it's going to be like $100 or whatever. But at least we can keep them in the house for a number of years, so, which is good, you know what I mean? Which, I'm working with, there's a guy who's a real estate agent who said, hey man, give me your card. So we can kind of work together and trying to keep people, because that helps real estate too. You know what I mean? You don't want to lose that house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but
no, it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
You want to have protection across the board.
Yeah.
When I was when I was going to school for accounting at Clackamas Community College, the teacher for the accounting class, he was saying like how he has like 3 or 4 insurance plans all coupled together, because ones take care of certain things, the other ones take care of other things, but together all of his insurance and life insurance takes care of everything.
Yeah.
So he's like double and triple protected. So if he ever had to go to a hospital or anything, he's never going to pay any money.
Yeah.
And he was saying like how much cheaper it's going to be for him in the big picture. And he's like, I'm 70 some years old.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm going to go ahead and not have to worry about any of this.
Well, that's the thing. I try to tell people, even, you have, like, I talk to people like, well, I have all my money. I have my money in like a 401k. I'm like, great. Awesome. Great. You have your money in a 401k. That's amazing. But let's diversify. Let's have some safe money diversified into like an annuity where it will never be touched if the market goes down. But also what you're saying is, let's have something that has living benefits, right? So if you were to get critically, chronically, or terminally ill, that you could pull that money out and not have to dip into your savings account to pay the doctor bills, right? Because this is already stipulated in this, that if you had an accident, that would pay you. Say you got an accident, you accidentally died, it pay you double. So it pay you double to your wife when you want something like that. Yeah, you know what I mean? But it's just the education. People don't understand that accidents happen, or that some life insurance that they get into, like I have a $300,000 life insurance policy. But does it have living benefits? Like if you were to, something were to happen to you? No, it just happens if I die. Well, that's really not gonna, you're not gonna die. You're just gonna be hurt. You know what I mean?
Well, Mark, talking about financial literacy, like when I was in high school, there was a pretty long period where the numbers equated to me getting fucked up.
Oh yeah.
So like, So regardless of like whatever you're saying, like $20 or $40, like I'm not saving that money, because that money never gonna make it anywhere. It's gonna make it to the end of the weekend where I get marijuana and alcohol, and that's it, bro.
But that's the thing.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like I'm not gonna make it past whatever you're saying.
But that's where I find the most objections with the younger crowd, is that they don't look. They're like, $20. What can I do with $20? Dude, I got this Coachella concert coming up. I want to save for that, right? But let's say you got Coachella and then you freaking have a seizure at Coachella from dropping 2 MDMA pills, and right, and then you're out and you lose your job. At least if that happens, this $20 is gonna, that you put into life insurance will definitely help you, so you don't, like, oh, I had a seizure. Okay, well now you're not rocking 2 of the functional features that you have, right? I can put together a plan where, because you're not feeding yourself because you're a dumbass because you went to Coachella, at least you have a policy that will take care of that while you're still living. You know what I mean?
Bro, and I know this is gonna get real touchy, but like Astro World.
Yeah.
You go to a concert, you go to have a good time, and you fucking get trampled. Nobody's accounting for getting trampled, and now at least your family can be taken care of.
Yeah.
And not feel so terrible because you were a smart kid and you're like, hey man, I like to do risky behavior.
See, these are things. These are conversations that we need to have, and these are the shows. Like I need to know about how to leverage real estate and how that can help me. And like you were just talking about with having a house, those 2 houses, you know what I mean, having an asset. Like I don't think a lot of people understand that, how difficult that is, you know what I mean, or how easy it is, you know what I mean, in that sense. If you're already managing one, that was one thing that I need help understanding with managing one house to managing 2 houses. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, if you're doing one, doing two is essentially the same thing, doubled. I'm not talking about going ahead and managing a 15 home portfolio. Like that's going to become really time consuming and a headache. Like, why would you not want to go ahead and babysit a first house and get your second house? Have your mortgage paid. Like that's a no brainer to me. Hey, Mark, you want to have your mortgage paid? Let's go ahead and get you a second house. How's that sound? And you don't have to pay your mortgage. You're like, okay, I like money.
Yeah, man.